Budget bids, followers. We're back with another build. I am super excited about the work that we did here for my good buddy Matt and Gina. We have been in contact over the past 3 years, and mind you, even though this build is lengthy, it happened not at once, but over the span of, I want to say, 7 months. And we did three separate builds at three different times of the year. So it's a lot happened, and it happened in actually a short amount of time. It was just very well planned and very well executed. So the photos you're seeing here are of the laundry room. Matt had let me know that he was unhappy about having the washer and dryer on the floor, as he is, a rather tall individual. I think he's like 6'7" or 6'8". That it would hurt his back to do laundry. So we built a custom pedestal for the washer and dryer to allow for it to not be so uncomfortable when being in that closed quarter area. Next, I dialed in on a countertop and how marble, granite, and quartz can be expensive. It was more the lead times that were going to be holding us back, as lead times for fabrication and installation were quite a ways out. I pitched Matt the idea of going with something in a Formica or a laminate, and told him that it has really come a long way in terms of style, in terms of texture and colors, and that they were really doing really great things with that product. And so he found one that he liked, and I fabbed it up. The woodwork you're seeing on the walls actually goes all the way from the counter to the ceiling and wraps around over the door and falls to the floor. Matt really liked the idea. Matt and Gina really liked the idea of doing like a shiplap. However, the pricing was really out of control for a tongue and groove shiplap. So I sold them on a raw cedar, and not only does it really bring a nice warm atmosphere to the small closed space, but it smells amazing. This clip actually shows me putting Schluter metal and getting ready for this tile mosaic that Matt had actually been sitting on in his garage for a few years. He was unsure about what he wanted to do with it, and I said, "Hey, man, give it to me. I'll appropriate that. I'll work that into the build, and we can definitely use it. I mean, each one of those squares is like $17." He was ready to toss away, and I was like, "Pump the brakes, reverse it. Let's use it. It looks great. I can work with this." So now we needed our centerpiece. Gina wanted a nice, cabinet, so she could put, laundry detergent, things like that, things that she needs for the household, and we can't find one, so we got to build one. Not a problem. We put together this nice deep cabinet for her. We went with 3/4 ACX furniture grade plywood. Give it some nice hot mitered corners. Filled everything in, sanded it down, and now you have a nice custom cabinet. We also put some filler strips in there to take out the space between the washer dryer and the countertop. And that wraps up our laundry room build. On to the next one. On to phase 2 of the build. The Costas really want to enjoy the summer and be able to enjoy their back patio area. They had this deck built by the person who built the home, and they weren't really satisfied. It had done its job over the years, but they wanted something that was a little nicer and was gonna add value to the home, as well as accommodate guests and an outdoor dining area. The deck itself measures 12 by 24. It's built out of 5/4 by 4 cedar skirting, and pressure treated everything. We flashed everything. I really wanted Matt to be reassured that with solid building practices and top grade materials, you're able to enjoy something for an extended period of time. That deck will last easily over a decade. As for phase 3 of the remodel, it was definitely going to be the bigger, more invasive part of the project. When you're taking apart somebody's house, you want to do your best to reassure them the building process, and do your best as a contractor kind of to coach your clients into what to expect. And definitely planning and reassuring your client goes a long way into making things go smooth. Now, having said that, the previous door, Matt had noticed water damage on his baseboard. The extent of the water damage was unknown. The only thing we knew for certain going into this build was that water was penetrating that, either that weather stripping or some flashing, and that it needed to be addressed. So we were kind of going in there blind, but I definitely had a game plan and knew what I needed to get done first and how to do it. After tearing out the existing door, you can really see how quickly water can wreck something. I mean, even the littlest penetration can cost you thousands of dollars in damage if not taken care of right away, or if it goes unnoticed for too long. And that is exactly what happened here. The door that we took out wasn't flashed properly. It wasn't hung properly. So I mean, they had cut it too short. They had scabbed in pieces to try and make it work, and ended up rehanging it incorrectly. And so, all those things could have been easily rectified had they flashed it properly and taken a little bit of time to make sure that water couldn't penetrate, but that wasn't the case. That door never stood a chance, and Matt was the one who was left holding the bag at the end of the day. And so we had to cross that bridge when we came to it. But luckily, it wasn't as bad as it could be. Things could always get worse. I mean, we could have easily had to replace floor joists, insulation, things like that. But we ended up just having to cut out the sheets and put in some new tongue and groove OSB. Matt and Gina opted to get a bigger door, a sliding door for the back, and it was really nice. I mean, it has these built-in blinds. It's a really cool door. But so we were able to rip out that header and stick in a bigger one to accommodate the bigger door frame. And we're able to get in that big door, shim it out, make sure it's watertight. We got new waterproof membrane. We got new metal. We got caulking all over the place. I mean, it's solid, and both Matt and Gina can be reassured that they're not going to have any future water problems. I ended up pitching the idea of possibly doing a slate entry in from the backyard, and Matt and Gina loved the idea. I went and got a few samples. I gave them a multicolored slate with a wet sealer so that it looks nice and a nice gloss to the stone. I sealed everything before I grouted it in, and then hit it again with sealer, and it looks fantastic. I gave Matt and Gina a level 5 drywall finish. That's their house has no texture, and the whole thing was done in a level 5. So I just wanted to match that and feather that out as clean as possible, so that when the primer goes on, whoever does their interior painting, or if they do that themselves, they'll be able to just match straight across. I just want to give a thank you to Matt and Gina for giving Budget Bits the chance to come in and do some work for them. I hope they really enjoyed everything. They're very hospitable, very appreciative. They gave me a lot of insight, and they were also really open to a lot of my ideas and a lot of my concepts when designing a lot of the features that went into their home. They were really receptive and gave me great feedback. And so with that, we're able to accomplish great things together, and it really shows in the end, in the finished product. You can definitely see that a lot of hard work, time, energy, and patience goes into these builds. And I want to thank Matt and Gina both for being very patient with Budget Bids and allowing us in their home. If you or anybody you know is interested in having roofing, siding, or remodeling done to their homes or rental properties, do be sure to get a hold of us. bidmyhouse.net. Follow us on YouTube, and keep up to date with all of our current builds on Facebook. Until next build, ciao.